Some books aren't just stories. They're basically a manual for survival, especially in the wild, chaotic world of modern IT. Today, we're digging into one of those books, The Phoenix Project.
So let's get into it. The Phoenix Project is written like a novel, but really it's a masterclass in what we now call DevOps. It uses this fictional company that's in a total crisis to show us some very, very real problems and solutions that have honestly reshaped the entire tech industry.
And the story just drops you right into the fire. I mean, this isn't some theoretical academic discussion. It's a full-blown emergency from page 1. This one line from the CFO, it just captures the mood perfectly. The company is on the brink of collapse, and the pressure is unbelievable. Right at the center of this whole storm is a guy named Bill Palmer. And he gets a promotion, but let's be real, it is not a reward. He's basically being handed the keys to a department that everyone in the company blames for all of its failures. His mission, as he finds out pretty quick, is basically impossible.
I mean, just look at the mess at Parts Unlimited. The stock price has been cut in half. Competitors are just running circles around them. And the one project that was supposed to save the company, this thing called Phoenix, is a complete and utter disaster. And to top it all off, on Bill's very first day, a payroll outage means thousands of people might not get paid. So IT isn't just a department here, it's seen as the company's single biggest problem.
So, just as Bill is about to completely drown in all this chaos, a mentor appears, this quirky, kind of mysterious board member named Eric. And Eric sees the IT department totally differently. He doesn't see a mess of code and servers, he sees a factory floor. He tells Bill that his job isn't fighting fires, it's managing the flow of work, just like in a car plant. And Eric's first lesson is so simple, but it's completely profound. You can't control what you can't see. So he breaks down all IT work into these 4 distinct categories. You've got your business projects, like Phoenix, internal projects, which are like upgrades, changes, which are smaller fixes, and then there's the one that's killing them, unplanned work. The emergencies, the outages, the constant firefighting. That's the stuff that is absolutely destroying their productivity. So Eric gives Bill a map to get out of this mess, and this right here, this is the core idea of the entire book. It's a philosophy called the Three Ways. It's basically the playbook for what we now know as DevOps. The first way is about managing the flow of work. The second way is about getting fast feedback from the end of the process back to the beginning. And the third way, that's about creating a culture that actually learns and gets better from all of it.
All right, so knowing the theory is one thing, right? But actually using it when everything is on fire is a whole other story. Bill now has to take these big ideas and apply them to the daily disasters happening at Parts Unlimited. This is the question that just paralyzes so many organizations, and Parts Unlimited is no exception. I mean, when everybody is screaming that their project is number one, where do you even start? The developers, the security team, the business leaders, they all have urgent demands. Eric gives them the answer. Stop looking at the 100 different fires and find the one single thing that's holding everything back, the constraint. At Parts Unlimited, that constraint is a person, Brent. He's this brilliant engineer who knows everything, which means nothing can get done without him. He is the bottleneck. And this is the first way in action. See, to improve the flow, you don't just tell everyone to work harder, you manage to constraint. Bill's team realizes they have to protect Brent, to control the work that goes to him. By actually visualizing all the requests and limiting what gets put on his plate, they can finally start to make his work, and by extension the entire department's work, predictable. But before they can really get that flow under control, the ultimate disaster strikes, the Phoenix launch. Management thinks they're getting a game changer. What they actually get is an IT catastrophe. Point-of-sale systems go down for days. Customer credit card data is exposed. The business just grinds to a halt. It's a total, unmitigated failure. The Phoenix disaster, as painful as it is, actually becomes the catalyst for the second way. The reason it failed so spectacularly was that problems weren't caught early. The developers just threw code over the wall that operations couldn't deploy. The feedback loop was completely broken. So now, they're forced to create systems where developers, security, and ops are talking constantly, catching problems when they're small and cheap to fix, not after they've taken down the whole company. This realization from the CEO, Steve Masters, is a huge turning point. After the Phoenix failure and a bunch of really tense meetings, he finally gets it. The root problem isn't technical, it's cultural. The different departments don't trust each other. They're all stuck in their own silos, just pointing fingers and blaming each other when things go wrong. And that leads them right to the third way. Because to really improve, you have to create a culture where it's safe to fail.
Now, not reckless failure, but the kind that comes from trying new things. It's all about building a high-trust environment where people can experiment and learn from their mistakes without being afraid of getting blamed. That's how the whole organization gets smarter and more resilient.
So armed with the 3 ways and this new sense of trust, Bill and his team finally start to turn the ship around. And the transformation from this reactive, chaotic firefighting unit to a proactive, high-performing organization really starts to take shape.
So what's the first step? Well, it's completely counterintuitive. To go faster, they have to stop. Bill manages to get the executives to agree to a complete freeze on all new project work. The whole point is to pay down their technical debt, all the shortcuts and messes in the code, and to finally finish the mountain of work that's been paralyzing them.
And the results are immediate and just staggering. Without all the constant interruptions and conflicting priorities, the teams become hyper-focused. The head of the project management office says it herself. They got a month's worth of work done in a single week. The freeze actually worked.
And the data proves it. It's not just a feeling of being more productive. The whole system becomes more stable. With better processes and a real focus on quality, the number of critical, business-stopping outages just plummets. They are finally getting out of firefighting mode.
And this brings us to the ultimate proof of their transformation. They create a new team, codenamed Unicorn. Instead of the massive, slow, monolithic Phoenix project, Unicorn is small and agile. Instead of deploying once a quarter, they deploy multiple times a day. They go from these high-risk, big bang releases to just doing small, fast experiments. It is the DevOps dream, realized.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, the lessons from the story are pretty clear and really powerful. You have to see your work to manage it. You have to find your Brent, your bottleneck, and build your whole process around it. You need fast feedback, you have to build a culture where failure is a chance to learn, and all of that has to be built on a foundation of trust.
The Phoenix Project shows how a company on the verge of total collapse can completely transform itself just by changing how it thinks about work. And these principles, they're not just for IT, they apply everywhere. Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. What's your Brent? What is the single biggest bottleneck that you need to manage to unlock the flow in your own work?